Hi, I'm Laura, and you're in the Videowave.
Hi, I'm David G, and I'm back riding the crest of the video wave. Today our special guests are that fabulous pop combo, the Cosmopolitans, who have a record out called How to Keep Your Husband Happy. If you live in England, it looks like this. But if you live in the United States, it looks like this. And we have here Jamie Sims, who's the founding member and sole original member of the group. And relatively new members, Judy Monteleone and Robert Crenshaw, who's a brother of Marshall Crenshaw, another famous pop combo. Right?
Right, that's right.
Okay, it's been quite a while since the singles come out. What have you guys been doing since? It's been at least a year, hasn't it?
It's been at least a year, yes. That's a good question. We have been in the studio for nearly a year working on the next record. We kind of got roped.
It's going to be a great record, so it takes that long to
it takes a lot longer to do a good record.
Well, there was a time lapse between the release of the American single, which has Wild Moose Party, which was a substantial hit, and Dancing Lessons, and the English one has a different B-side.
Yeah.
Right? Why was there the time lapse between? Why did the album come out in England eventually, the single rather?
I don't know, because they Albion liked it and they decided they would put it out later. We were interested in doing some other things with them, but we kind of got roped into a deal that was supposed to happen last summer. We were supposed to have a record out last July. Mm-hmm. And the way things worked out, the guys that were handling it couldn't really handle it, so so it's taken this long. It takes, weeks to get a copy of the tape and everything. But as of Tuesday, it's done.
And so an album's done.
Yeah, and now when it will be coming out will be probably in June sometime.
You haven't gigged in quite a while, right?
Right. Why haven't we done that?
Right.
Well, we haven't done that because we've been in and out of the studio. And also because we've had this problem with our company. Take your gum out. Yeah, right. Stick it on the bottom of your chair.
Put it on your nose. That's what they used to do in grammar school.
Okay, back to this.
Anyway, we haven't been able to play because we haven't gotten the record out. And it's all kind of involved in the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And you keep changing band members. I mean, people have been coming and go, and the people on the record are not the same people as you were playing with last year.
Right.
And the people you have now are not the same people as you had then.
Right. We're refining the band.
Does this make any sense?
No, it doesn't. It's really confusing, so there's no reason to even talk about it.
Well, the only person who didn't play on the record that's in the band now is her. And then I got in right before the record.
Yeah, he was in right before the record.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody that's playing now will be on the record that's out.
Jamie, it seems like you're on sort of a mission to keep the Cosmopolitans going. What's your inspiration? I mean, through thick and thin, there's this concept that's the Cosmopolitans.
Yeah. Well, I like to go to parties. No, and nobody has any good parties, so we practice, and I kind of want to promote that concept, I guess.
Do you think your music is sort of a soundtrack for parties?
Yeah. I think they should just put it on and let it run and, do whatever it tells them.
Because most of the stuff seems to be, I guess, sort of serious frivolity. I mean, it seems silly and carefree, but there's a very serious idea under some of the stuff.
Yes, like my personality.
Or like the single, for instance, How to Keep Your Husband Happy.
Yeah.
Were you ever married?
Not that I know of.
Question. You don't have to answer it if you don't want.
No.
Well, if you weren't married, how can you make this list of things on how to keep your husband happy? What kind of information do you have?
That song was themed on an exercise record I got that was called How to Keep Your Husband Happy. It's a Debbie Drake record. And she lists all kinds of things on the back. And I took some of those, and it's just a conglomeration of the ideas on there.
That record was recorded in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Winston-Salem.
But you're
Close.
from Chapel Hill.
Well, I went to school in Chapel Hill. I'm actually from Asheville, North Carolina. That's close, yeah.
Okay, we're going to go to the video now. I guess it's from that single.
Yeah, although none of the people on the video are really playing except me.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
We're there in spirit.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go to that.
It's a club anyway. It's like a fraternity.
And we'll be back in a few minutes. This is the Cosmopolitans doing How to Keep Your Husband Happy. Okay, we're back. Jamie, before the video that we just saw, I'm not asking them any questions. They didn't talk before, and they're not going to talk now. You were talking about the video being shown on the Uncle Floyd show, or you did a performance on the Uncle Floyd show that led to the video, or something to that effect?
Back in about 1805, I think we did the Uncle Floyd show.
Yeah.
And that video, we took a copy of that and edited that with a videotape that Mike Dugan did, and Mike edited all of it and had it colorized and stuff and made it into what it is today.
Don't you think the Uncle Floyd show peaked fast? There was such a rush of publicity after years and years, and then suddenly it...
I don't know, because I haven't been around. I don't know that much about it.
I still watch the Uncle Floyd show, and I love the Uncle Floyd show. We did it. I saw him at the Left Bank in Westchester. Yeah. He had a fine show. His live show was really great, and I watched his television show whenever.
But it's good because he gives a format to bands that are up and coming where they wouldn't necessarily have the exposure that they had before then. But it seems like those avenues are closing. For instance, your single, A Wild Moose Party, was played on Vince Skelce's show on NEW every night for months, and then Vin is gone.
He is?
You really have been
I'm really out of the music world altogether.
Did it get any airplay outside of New York? New York's really...
It was played in most college stations all over the country. It was like really big with Vassar and Mount Holyoke and stuff like that. And in California, it was big on the college stations.
What do they know in California, right?
They don't, well...
When the single first came out, you were originally, before the single, you were a trio that performed to taped backing.
Right.
Which you made yourself.
Right, and Chris Damey and I made, and Mitch Easter made the tape.
Chris is also from North Carolina, correct? Do you think there's a trend, there's sort of an influx of all of these Southern and Western people coming out of nowhere and like ending up in New York and being in
I wouldn't really say it was out of nowhere. That's the it's not really nowhere. It's definitely somewhere. No, I think it's funny that people have seen that there's a chance for them to do something and to be able to play in New York. Before, there's still lots of bands and stuff around there. They just never thought about it.
Well, for instance, there's that whole Athens thing that they're always talking about, whether there's a scene or not is irrelevant, but a band comes out of there and suddenly 5 bands come out of there and there's an Athens thing and there's a North Carolina thing and a Florida thing and all of this jazz.
Well, it's good that it's moved, other cities are starting to become aware.
It has a lot to do, I think, with just the whole independent record situation, because smaller bands, it used to be only, Foreigner or Boston would be on records, but now smaller bands can be on records and can play, the club scene all throughout the country.
Do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages of being an independent? I mean, you'll get signed, but there are problems with distribution and things.
There are more problems than you could ever imagine.
But that's the way the record industry is supposed to be. It's cutthroat. I mean, it's supposed to be little companies, and it shouldn't be a big corporations. The competition is, it's a much healthier industry when there are many small, small companies competing against each other. Whether it's much healthier than having 3 companies, 3 mega buck companies competing with each other. And there's more, you can get more artists going at the same time. The rotation is faster. It's much healthier.
Okay, real quick. Here's our triple wrap-up question.
Get ready.
Number 1, tell me a little bit about the coloring book, the colored book, the Cosmopolitans official color book. Number 2, tell me about your Paul McCartney fixation. And number 3, what can we expect as the next single?
Well, first
or
of
will
all,
the album come first?
These are all us. No. Paul McCartney, that's just, David said that in another interview, that the reason we didn't have a bass is because I did have an early crush on Paul McCartney, which was an unrequited love, and so I don't have a bass. The color book is a book my mother gave me called Color Me Beautiful, which tells us all which best colors we should wear.
Okay, thank you very much, Jamie, Robert, and Judy. And that was the Cosmopolitans. Now we're going to be going into Fingerprintz, doing a video of their song, Shadows.
Wünderbar, Wünderbar. That was Tenpole Tudor. I love Tenpole Tudor. We want to thank the folks at Stiff Records for supplying all the videos for this program, the Fingerprintz video and the Tenpole Tudor video and the Pig Bag video. Want to thank the Cosmopolitans for coming by and remind you to come out and buy all their records and see them live when you see them in the papers. And I'd like to thank David Rosenberg. And I'd like to thank everybody from Videowave, and I'd like to talk about something that I think is important for young people to know about, and that's something that's going on in the government right now that really does affect all of us very, very deeply. See, Reagan and the right wing have found another $52 million in the budget to pour into military defense spending, but where they found this money is Social Security benefits, Amtrak, the Small Business Administration, and food stamps. And if you ever expect to get Social Security, if you ever ride Amtrak, if you ever have a small business, or if you ever go on welfare, it's not going to be there. So I suggest that if this affects anybody in any way, that they should get involved and really start taking notice of what's going on, because it's just always safer to be aware. So thanks to everybody. See you next week, and we'll have Brian Brain.
But in case anyone's worried, they're very well-paid dwarves. We don't just put any dwarves out there either.
Yes, they receive the scraps from our table.
Yes.
Very fair. What about your fellow peers, the gentry? Did they find you shocking?
Well, do we actually know anyone in our social class? I don't think we do.
No, we're too good for our equals.
We only know each other. We only deal